And we are live.
Yay.
Welcome to episode 8 of I Am My Own Story. I am Salad Blue Sister, aka Salad, and with me today we have no shout out, aka Shelby. Okay, everyone. So Shelby is a frequent visitor, participant on the Podbean platform. If any of you guys don't know, Podbean is a podcaster platform, and a frequent visitor and participant on my show, My Turn to Talk. And today, we're going to talk about why, Shelby has an interest in mental health. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So with no further ado, Shelby, welcome.
Hello. It's
So
nice to
Shelby, tell
finally meet you.
nice to finally meet you too. So why the interest in mental health?
Basically, my interest lies in the fact that I am bipolar. Um, I was diagnosed as bipolar back when I had just turned 30. Most people are diagnosed when they are in their early 20s. Um, well, between their teens and early 20s. I may have, uh, I'm going to say that I was then in that category, but I was formally or officially diagnosed when I was 30. Um,
Well, can I stop you there for a moment?
uh-huh.
So when you say that most people are diagnosed in their teens and 20s, early 20s, is that because the schools, like the school you're in, is saying to your parents, "Hey, I think something's wrong," or like why at that point as opposed to when you're 30, 40, 50?
There's not really, I'm not sure. Um, most, there are warning signals, red flags. I had all the red flags, but I had no one that was there to say, "Hey, look, there's something wrong with her." It wasn't until my second marriage that that noticed the red flags and said, "I think you need to go get some help."
Okay. Okay. So when that happened, did your life change or did you notice a difference or
Yeah, I decided at first, um, I had underlying trauma, that we had to deal with first. Um, when I was, younger, I was around 13, my dad sexually molested me, uh, and that's what conspired all of it. I had always felt from the time I can remember that, nobody cared for me, nobody, you know, loved me, nobody, was there for me. Um, I suffered from insomnia my whole entire life. Um, there were times when I would just I would bounce off the wall, per se. Um, but now I suffer more of the depressive side of bipolar than I do of the mania side.
okay. So is it like episodes?
Yes, I have episodes, especially um, like when there's a medicine change, which we have been having to play with my medicine. I was on Vraylar for many years, but we it I became immune to it. So we had to change it, and when I made immune to it, that's when I started having episodes and they were
Okay.
coming more frequently,
Okay.
I would I would just sit and cry for hours on end. I never really stayed in bed because I really could, but I never did because I'm married. Um, and though he works, the days that he worked, I mean, I would just literally sleep all day long.
Okay. Okay. All right. So I'm going to ask this, and it could be a stupid question. I'm not a doctor. I don't know. I'm truly asking because I don't know. When people take medication for being bipolar, they weren't taking medication, say, 100 years ago, because people didn't. I mean, the name wasn't out there, and people didn't know. Do you think medication is more of a pro or a con, or
In my
does it depend upon
situation,
who you are,
repeat that again.
or does it depend upon who you are, meaning who is taking the meaning everyone's different, like how you respond to one thing, I may respond to it differently.
Hmm. Yeah, I think it depends on the person. Um, for many years, I self-medicated. Um, I'm a recovering alcoholic. Um, uh, um, I smoked weed. I never done hard drugs per se, um, because that's, when my husband came into my life, I was on the verge of doing the hard drugs.
Okay,
Um,
so he was your
that
positive.
Yes, he was my positive in my life. Um, he it was a matter of a situation of I knew things had to stop. I knew something was wrong, um, but things had to stop. It was like a whirlwind. Um, Things didn't completely stop. It was more like a cover up. Um, I still self-medicated, but the drinking stopped for the simple fact I had to have a new car, and he helped me get that new car. It wasn't brand new, but it was new to me.
Mhm.
And I was drinking that night, and there was, from where I lived, there were several different ways you could go to the store, and I needed cigarettes, so I went to the store. And he, of course, was there, but he begged me the whole time, "Don't go, I'll go for you." And I grabbed the keys and I went, and I couldn't tell you how I got there.
Hmm.
And I got back home, and we had a fight, and he just told me, he said, "It's either the alcohol or me." And from then on, you know, I he watches how I drink. I will drink, but I don't drink to the excessive amount that I used to drink. I mean, I could clear a 6-pack and not feel a thing. Now I can only drink one, and I'm under the table.
Mhm.
I can certainly say my youngest daughter can outdrink me.
So are you able to, like, go, out to a restaurant and just have a glass of wine and that's it?
I can go to a restaurant and not have anything but a Coke.
No,
I don't
no,
have
I'm
to
saying if you
necessarily.
okay, okay. So, all right, so then let me ask this, and again, I'm asking because I truly, truly don't know. Do you get stressors? Like
Oh yeah.
something that can okay, so how do you handle that?
Um, I usually I'm a closet stressor. My biggest problem is I tend to run away. I do not face a lot of things that I should face. Um, especially if my husband and I get in an argument, and it's a pretty serious argument, which we don't argue a lot. But if we do and it's serious enough, I will walk away and I won't, he'll follow me and I'll be like, you need to go away. I can't handle it right now. I do not like confrontation. That is not something I can handle. So that is a stressor there. If I'm very critical of myself, no matter what it is I do. It's down to where even if I cook something new and it doesn't turn out right, I'm like, it didn't go the right way. I'm sorry, I'm like, and I won't eat that night.
It's interesting that you say that, because I try so many new dishes and I'm like, oh, that didn't work. I just, I'm like, okay, whatever, I find it interesting because, even as I do my show, everyone is just so different. You have so many different personalities and people are saying different things. And it fascinates me and it interests me, in terms of how people handle things. So would you say that everything that doesn't turn out right is always a negative for you to stress out on me? I mean, can you, like, I'm just using this and as an example. I mean, can you make a pizza and it turns out completely crazy, whatever, and you just say, okay, let me start over, or I'll do this again tomorrow, or I'll go to McDonald's tonight, or, I mean, I guess, can you get out of your own head? Can you get out of your own head? And
I have a wonderful psychiatrist, and she has helped me immensely. And there are a lot of things that I have learned to let go of. So I can say, yes, there are times that I have burnt the pizza and, let it go. But yeah, there are a lot of times that I let things go. But
okay.
when I'm in the manic state is when I tend to burn things because I don't pay attention to anything but how I feel at that moment.
Okay. All right. So I know you have a support dog.
Yes, I do.
Okay. And is it a him or her?
It's a her.
Her. Okay. So did you get her like recently, or was it suggested to you to get a support dog, or it was?
Well, we I had been looking online for like a lap dog, and my daughter, my oldest daughter, and I decided to look at the Humane Society because at that time we were hearing a lot of good things about our local Humane Society and how animals need to be adopted. Um, so we got to looking on there and we found Jackie is her name. She was the cutest dog on the website. And so we got her for my oldest daughter. We When we got her, she had warmed up to her. I mean, she just took up with her for the first night she slept with her. And I was like, I guess I'm chopped liver, And my daughter recently moved out to start her life, and which I'm proud of her. I'm very proud of her. And my Jackie has turned into my Jackie. So she practically stays by my side. If not by my side, she is within arm's reach.
It's interesting how you said that you're chopped liver because I have 3 dogs. My son does not like them at all. They don't like him. Um, but the middle one, when I got her, they're all rescue dogs. And when I got her, um, she was only supposed to be with us like 2 weeks. And then they asked me to foster. She was a scrawny little thing. She was ugly, whatever. And I mean, just she was a horrible looking dog.
Oh,
And when I brought her home, she did not take to me at all. She did, even when I was picking her up, I'm like, this dog does not like me. They're like, oh no, she'll be fine. She'll be fine. I'm like, this dog does not like me. And I had another rescue dog who I only had a couple months, and he to this day I've had him 9 years, and he went through so much trauma that even now, if I just like raise my hand up, he thinks I'm going to hit him. He's
yeah.
so so um the second dog took to Bo really. I mean, they took to each other, and she took to my husband, and I'm like, okay, then you feed her, you whatever. She would not pay attention to me at all. So it was time for me to take her to PetSmart, to the adoption thing. And my husband goes, "Are you really going to be able to give her up?" I'm like, "Yes." But she don't like me. So he was like, but she's so cute. I'm like, so he's like, well, she's cute in her own little way, and Bo really likes her. If you notice, he's kind of come out of his shell, which he did. He came out of his shell some more. So I said, you want to keep her? And to this day, that dog, I've had that dog for, let's see, no, I take that back. I had Bo. Yes, I've had them both about the same amount of time, but she's younger than him. And to this day, that dog, whenever she sees my husband, is like, I'm chopped liver, and she runs off to him. But when he's not around, she is like all up in my face. And I must say that out of all my dogs, she's now the cutest. She grew into her whatever. But she does not. So don't be offended because
Yeah, when my oldest daughter comes home like she did today, she flocks to her. Um,
so yeah.
which doesn't bother me now, because she doesn't see her as often. And
Mhm.
to me, that makes me feel good because she still remembers her.
But was
And
that a stressor for you?
it was at first because Jackie moped around and like she wouldn't come to me. I mean, she would lay. My daughter would um leave her bedroom door open, and she would just go in there and lay on her bed, and she wouldn't eat. She wouldn't. I mean, she wouldn't do anything, and it worried me at first, but then she slowly came around, and we recently went out of town, and I had to come back early because she wouldn't eat from my other daughter who came and took care of her, and I was like, so she's very temperamental as far as who keeps her, and she's vengeful when you're gone. She don't
Okay.
want to go with you, but she wants you to be here.
So then is Jackie is she the one who can, like, if you're going into a funk, um will she be the one that will help you get out of it? Like she'll do
Oh
something, because to
yeah,
me,
yeah, and
I mean, 'cause
she knows when it's coming, because she will, like I said, she's like right there.
Okay. 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 And I say that because, when I look at my dogs in some way or another make me laugh every single day. Sometimes I just look at them and they'll just be sitting there just looking at me and I'll just start laughing. So does Jackie do that for you? That sometimes, she just does, even something like this really silly, you just start laughing.
No, but I have another dog that does that. You
Okay.
look at them
Okay.
and wonder what in the world they're thinking. But Jackie's very serious.
Okay.
She don't, she'll play around with you, but she's a serious dog. She don't. She's like, we're not playing right now. This is some serious stuff, you know. And you'll see my
So
cat
your
behind
dogs
me.
do make you feel good then.
Oh yeah, yeah. She does,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. So in terms of then, your moods and everything, because when you come on my show, you're always happy. And sometimes we get to giggling, and you know, eh, when I talk to you, you make me feel good. I enjoy talking to you. It's like I'm laughing, I'm smiling, even when I'm giving you crap, you know. Um, so do you have those, like, do you have days where you just know this is going to be a good day, or you go
Yeah,
to
I can
bed
tell.
and say this was a good day?
Yeah, I can tell when I wake up whether it's gonna be a good day or a bad day.
Okay. And how do you know it's going to be a bad day?
It's one of those where you'll wake up and um you just don't want to move. Just, you don't want to move. Even turning over is just like, oh my God, you know.
But okay, so did you go to bed thinking like that, or did you have a
No,
dream,
I
or
would go to bed fine. I can go to bed fine. Um, and while I'm sleeping, I don't know, something will happen. Sometimes it's a dream, sometimes it's not a dream. And then sometimes it can hit me. I can be up and, you know, doing housework. Um, Anything really. I can be out in town. Um, and it just, hit me. And I've been out in town with my husband before, and it hit me, and I'll be like, "We got to go home. I'm done."
okay,
And
so okay, so then I have to ask, then when you're out and about, then is there a trigger, like you smell something, you see something, you taste something, or
not
somebody's?
really. There's not really with me. There's It's hard to say if there's a trigger. Um, it's an imbalance, and
Okay.
I do have medication that not only controls my mood, but it controls the severity of my depression. It controls the anxiety that I have, and it also helps with the paranoia. So
Okay.
I take a number of medications, and we recently put me on a new medication that has helped a whole lot. It's new, um, and I think I feel better on it than I did with the other medication that I was on that I became immune to.
So, Shelby, what makes you paranoid?
Oh, I've been paranoid my whole life. It's nothing. It's a feeling that you have. You can be in a room full of people and you think everybody in that room is talking about you. Or you can It's just not any one thing in general. Um, they may they these people may not be talking about you, but they might look in your general direction, and bam, I'm thinking, okay, it's time to go. These people are talking about me, and it's not good. Apparently, that's my series of paranoia.
Okay. Well, do you do any? I mean, do you volunteer or have any outside activities to keep your mind occupied?
Not at the moment. Um, I plan on. I'm studying right now to become a certified herbalist. Um, that way, that will occupy my time. It very much interests me. Um, I have been wanting to grow herbs just personally, for my husband and I to get healthier. Um, and I saw an opportunity within my community, um, and surrounding area, uh, that I thought, hey, I think I need to take advantage of it, and so I am taking advantage of it.
Okay. All right. So, do you have a garden or anything that you do during the summer? Or?
Yes, in the summer, I just started this past summer. I did have a garden. It was very, very, very small. I planted tomatoes, zucchini and squash, and I planted purple hull peas. My purple hull peas did not turn out, but my tomatoes were in abundance, and my squash and zucchini were in abundance. But then I got COVID and it died. My whole garden
Okay.
died. I was so sad.
Well, there's always next summer, or you can start a garden now.
Yes, I had thought about getting after Christmas. I'm gonna get the little tray things that you can start your seedlings in.
Hmm.
And that's how I'm gonna start my herbs. Because by then it will be time to plant certain herbs that are uh what you would think is it's not common in my area. So I would need to
Okay.
plant them then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, in terms of just your moods and just keeping your mind clear and do you go for walks? Like, do you walk, Jackie, and like even if you're just walking around the block and just because I find that when I'm walking the dogs, that is my quiet time because I'm always just so busy. That's my time, just when I'm just walking around the neighborhood to the park, wherever. I'm just in my own head. I'm just chilling, just enjoying you know.
Yeah, I walk Jackie. We walk around the house. I don't live per se in a neighborhood. I live in the sticks. Um, so I have uh several acres of land. So we, kind of venture out sometimes. Now that it's getting cold, we don't do that. Um, but one thing that did get me, that has gotten me, I should use correct English here, that has gotten me to where I am right now, which is in a good place, is podcasts. I mean, I started listening to podcasts through your podcast. Um, it's been interesting, but it's like, to me, it takes me to a different place, and it's a good place. Um, it has made me, in a sense, forget that I have an illness, a mental illness, and it has, um, I guess you could say, freed me of it for just an hour. So I mean, I like it.
Well, I will say I enjoy you coming on my show. And I remember when I would, like I said to you the other day, when I said, Shelby, would you like to come up? No. And you would type in, no, I'm not ready yet. Now everybody, she pops up there. She's one of the first ones. She's one of the first ones on. Okay, so let me ask you because me, I talk. Okay, I am a talker, and for me to go on a podcast, whatever, it's like I'll go up on the mic. Is not a problem. So what got you to that point? What made you say I'm going to take the mic? What made you say I'm coming up?
I can't remember the exact show, but I remember the person, and that was Chill Will. He was talking about something, and like I said, I did not remember the subject.
Okay, Shelby, you
But
got to turn your camera. I only see half of your. There you go.
I knew I did not agree with him, and I was gonna voice my opinion that day. I think I was kind of in a mood that day, per se, and I was not gonna let that go. So I think that was the day. That was finally the day that I had decided.
Well, what was interesting, because I don't remember the show, but what was interesting to me that I do remember is the fact that you said a couple of times, I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet. And then you pop up there and it was like you had something to say and you said it and then you kept, and then you were talking, you were engaged. And then the next time you came on the show, you popped right up there, whatever. So I guess, it's like, you were hesitant, but once you got up there, it was like you had always been up there.
Been part of it, yeah.
So
I am
okay,
very. Go ahead.
I was going to say, so in terms of like a chill will type thing in real life, in real time, are you the same way? Like if somebody gets you going or somebody, okay.
Yeah, I'm very timid at first. You have to. I have to warm up to you. I'm not a cold person, but I'm very. I don't like crowds. I mean, more than 10 people in a room, I'm done with the room. It's time to go. We have a pretty big family, and oh my gosh, holidays were bad for me. Not for the simple fact that everybody didn't get along, because this family is dysfunctional. But for the fact that there are so many of us that I just couldn't. I stayed outside most of the time because I just could not. It's like I couldn't breathe. Um, but I'm very timid and shy. I mean, I'll say hello to you. But as far as trying to initiate conversation, I don't do that.
Okay. All right. It's interesting because as much as I talk, I don't like crowds. I am one of those people who, if I'm invited somewhere, I prefer to drive myself so I can leave when I want. I don't really want to pick you up because you may want to stay. There have been times when I have told people, well, if you want to stay, you need to get a ride with somebody else because, especially when I say I'm leaving at such and such a time, you're like, oh, well, can't we just, no. And if you want to stay, you get a ride with somebody else, whatever.
Somebody else.
I was always that kid where up until my father put his foot down, my mother always was going over to aunts and uncles and cousins' houses for Thanksgiving, Christmas. And my father was like, can't it just be the four of us? It's like, why do we always have to be? And I never liked doing that. I don't like, I never like, why we got to sit at a table with 20 people and eat? I mean,
Right.
I was rather take my plate and go over in the corner and and I'm fine. So yeah, I totally get that. But then there are people who they thrive around a lot of people.
Yeah, I wish I was. Sometimes I wish I was that type of person, but I'm not. I have to.
But do you really consider yourself timid? Because I see shy and timid as two different things. Do you really see yourself as timid? Because I don't see you as timid.
I
because
always thought that it was the same thing.
I mean, I think timid is somebody who, if you say boo to them, they're like, oh, oh, I don't want to, I don't want to do this. And shy is more like, you want to do it, but well, no, where timid is more like you're almost scared. Like, to me, the story of Cinderella was timid around her evil stepmother and sisters, but she wasn't shy. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, I would have to say I'm more timid because I'm very, yeah, things tend to scare me.
Okay, so you get intimidated easily.
Oh, yes, very much so.
Okay. See, I mean, and again, I don't know you, but I don't see that because the conversations that we've had and the laughing and what have you, and just you know the back and forth, because I have talked to timid people. Now I'm not saying shy. I'm saying I have talked to timid people who, it's like they are, like I said, you say boo and they're just ready to run. And you've just, for me, at least to me, you've never been that person. So,
I guess because a lot of it has to do with the fact that you are a trusted person by a person I trust. I started listening to It's Doomsday podcast before I started listening to yours.
mhm.
Jester is a very close friend of mine. I consider him to be like a big brother. And he talks very highly of you. So in my opinion, it's like I knew you before I knew you. So I felt more comfortable talking to you than more timid
Okay. All right. All right.
because
You
of the
know, you
fact
know,
that,
and it's interesting because on Jester's podcast, and as I told you, when I first went his podcast, he was very welcoming. Um, he wasn't rude. He was, I mean, like I said, I was the only liberal amongst a bunch of conservatives. And I think they were talking about COVID. Here I am coming in talking about, well, I wear a mask. I've been vaccinated, whatever. But he was always, I mean, he has always been very, very nice to me. And and through his show, I got to know you.
yeah.
And we started saying, every time you come into the room, you're like, hi, certain people you start to say hi to, whatever. But there are some people, and again, people who are listening, some people know what we're talking about, some people don't, but a lot of people, I'm pretty sure, have engaged in social media. There are some people that you're just drawn to, and you were one of those people. Like I mean, there are people who, you know, they come and go, whatever. You can take them or leave them, whatever. But you were one of those people that I was drawn to, and I again met you on Jester's show. So, but so
Oh goodness. Oh shucks.
and also for people who are listening and don't know me and do not know Shelbie, um, sometimes when we're talking, we just get to giggling and laughing. And I give her a hard time sometimes. This is what I'm saying, because it's like I mean, just like what we were talking about yesterday. And I'm just I just laugh because when I think about it, and sometimes I think about how you think about a conversation, you just start laughing. And I will be
Yeah.
in the car or I'm doing something. I'm outside, in the background, I'm sitting at the computer working or whatever, and I'll think about something that you said, and I'll just start giggling because it's funny, So that's why I want you to be happy. I don't want you to have episodes. I don't want you to have issues or anything like that. I mean, well, we all have issues, but I truly, genuinely want you to be a happy person. I want you to wake up every day having a good day because I think you deserve it. I think that, you're one of those people who should have a happy and good day. So,
Well, I appreciate that. There are some people that doesn't think so.
so
Of
then
course,
on
I'm
the
sure
mental,
you know that.
yes, I do. But so on the mental health side, though, do you see yourself at some point wanting to volunteer, or if someone were to see this show and they wanted to, you know, get in contact with you, or I mean, just anything? Do you see yourself where somebody could say, wow, I would want to talk to her, and you would be able to talk to someone? I mean, I'm not saying that you have to or you would, but would you,
Sure, they can contact me at TikTok under Shelby Jack. Um, they could also, there's a 24-hour hotline for typical, it's made exclusively for mental health issues. And the number is 988. It was started this year. Um, and it, like I said, it's exclusively for mental health issues, suicide, um, bipolar, schizophrenia. I mean, any kind of mental health issue you think you may have, and you want to talk to somebody about it, please, please. If you can't get a hold of me on TikTok at Shelby Jack, please call 988.
and that's
They will
a
be
national
more than
number?
happy. It's a national number. It's a free call. Call them.
Okay. All right. I did not know that. See, I learned something new. So,
Yes.
so was that started because of because everyone says that when COVID started, everybody was at home and stuck in their house, whatever. That's when mental health came to the forefront. Do you think that's true, or do you think that it was already there and people were trying to address it then, or people are still not addressing it?
People, they're saying COVID was the beginning of it. No, COVID was not the beginning of it. There has been mental health issues for years, years. Even before, I mean, a long time ago, they just didn't know how to deal with it then. They put people in sanitariums, and
Do you
things
think
like
people
that.
know how to
And
deal with it now? Do you
I'm
think people know
sorry.
how to deal with it now? Do you think people know how to deal with it now?
Um, they're not sanitariums per se now. There are hospitals that parents. I know of a few families that they put their kids in hospitals, mental hospitals now, because they don't want to deal with their kids. Um, but I think, in my opinion, there needs to be more advocacy done for mental health. There's just not enough.
Okay, so then let me ask this then. You know the story of the Kennedys, where their oldest daughter went through electric shock therapy and what have you. Do you think that if that same daughter fast forward 50 years, they would have done that? Like, that was the thing to do. It's like, okay, we electric shock, electric shock. I mean, to me, is incredibly cruel. But I mean, do you think fast forward 50 years that families would not have done that? Families would not have, maybe they would not have, hidden their child away or put them, or in fact, if I'm correct, she had electric shock and a lumbotomy. So, because the world has been dealing with mental illness for years. I mean, back, what, back in Britain, like in the 1800s, 1700s, um, instead of sending people who had mental illnesses to hospital, they sent them to Newgate Prison and just had a portion of the prison for quote unquote crazy people, and they were unkept, they weren't taken care of. So, have things really changed? I
I
mean, you may
think
not, you know,
the electric shock therapy has not changed. They still offer that. They were going to try that on me, and I adamantly said no. Because it had gotten to the point to where there was no medication that was helping me. None. I mean, we
okay,
were
but you
going.
were able to pull out of that though, right? Meaning, apparently, since you said no, apparently something had to have happened where
We finally
something.
found a cocktail that works. Yes. But it was getting to the fact that we didn't know what to do. And she finally found a cocktail that works. Yes.
Okay, so again, so I go back and say the only thing that's changed are the years, but we're still treating people who have mental health issues like they're crazy. It's like, it's just like, which I think is one of the things I think is truly, truly horrible is when you have vets that have served, whether it's Vietnam, World War II, wherever, Afghanistan, wherever, and they come back home and they can't deal with whatever they dealt with over there, and they can't come back home to, to live amongst us normal people, and we throw them away instead of helping them. So what's the difference between throwing them and putting them in Newgate prison or someplace else, or just leaving them on the street, or just not helping them at all, and they go home to their families and they commit suicide or they do something else?
That's where the advocacy comes in. I am all for mental health stability for veterans. Not just
So,
civilians, but I'm more for veterans because they have seen so much damage than what a civilian has seen.
so, would you say technically you are an advocate?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. All right. All right.
Because I am tired of how vets are getting treated.
Hello, everyone. So we are actually back. So if you notice that our clothes are different, the background is different, whatever, that is because we ran into a little bit of difficulty, and we had to finish this at a later date, and today's a later date. So shall we just to wrap everything up and tie a nice bow on it? Do you have any last words or anything that you want to tell people or tell us in terms of mental health or whatever?
Don't think if you come to a bridge in your life and you think that you're alone, don't think that you're alone. There are people out there that can help you, whether it be support from your family, or even if you call the number of 988, call that number. People will help you. You have support. Um, just reach out is all that I asked. Reach out.
Okay, I'm just gonna ask a question. What if people have a hard time reaching out?
There are people that do have a hard time reaching out. If you feel like if you're a family member and you feel like this person needs help, um, I would for sure, I do think you can also call that number and, talk for support. Um, if not, you can call your local behavioral health center, and they have support groups. Um, Sometimes they can even offer you ways to, combat the situation. And when I mean combat the situation, not necessarily put them in a hospital, but to, reach out and offer that person help.
Okay. And the 988, that is a confidential number.
Yes, it is the
Okay.
national hotline. You don't have to dial star, pound, or nothing. It's strictly 988.
Okay. All right. Well, Shelby, thank you very much for sharing with us. I appreciate it.
No
Thank you for saying
problem.
that you would do this. I do appreciate that. Some
Oh,
people they don't
you're
want to,
welcome.
so but thank you. All right, and everyone, until next time, peace.
Bye.